We're happy to be joined now by winning owner Staten Fleury, who owns the horse in partnership with Guitar Racing and Big Out Farms, as well as winning trainer Brad Cox, who won 3 races today, and of course won the Oaks in 2018 with Monomoy Girl, who just won the La Troyenne. So Brad, congratulations on your big day.
Thank you.
And Staten, congratulations to you.
Hey, thank you.
Brad, I would just like to start with you, and if you could just recap the race for us.
Well, obviously worked out extremely well. We were a little bit closer maybe than expected, but honestly, I didn't think the pace was quite as hot as we expected. Thought Swiss Skydiver maybe right there with Gamine, but Philly broke extremely sharp and put some pressure on Gamine, and it worked out extremely well. We had she was able to battle with her and put her away, turn for home, and then fought off Swiss Skydiver. So it was a big effort.
Can you talk more about that pace and when you saw Gamine get away with pretty easy opening quarter?
I did. Florent was very, well in hand. I mean, it looked like he had a lot of horse. And then I saw I think it was 47 and 4. I was like, yeah, these type of horses, that's not that fast and, well in hand. So I felt confident. It looked like she may have started to lean out just a little bit. I thought Swiss Skydiver was going to slip up the inside, and then it looked like Johnny may, came back over and put a little pressure on Swiss Skydiver, which probably helped out a little bit. But, It was a very good trip. Florent did a fantastic job. Philly was training extremely well. She'd worked 3 weeks ago here with Monomoy Girl, and she worked well. And then 2 weeks ago, she worked by herself solo, and I think she was 3/4 and 11 and 3. It was a fantastic move over, I thought, a little bit of a heavy track that morning. But she skipped through it, good gallop out, and came back last week with the maintenance work. So she'd been touting herself for the mornings, that she had a big one in her. And, we've been pointing for this. We wanted to come into this race with, I'd say, like juice left in the lemon, and felt like we hadn't squeezed her too much. And
Yep.
I think it, obviously it was a good move. It was she responded well today, and very, very, very proud of her.
And can you talk more about what gives you the confidence to train up to a race? I heard you talking earlier in the week about what a good workhorse she is. What about her allowed you to do that?
I think that's the big thing. Lots of times, if you got a horse that's willing to put in the work of the morning, it gives you a little confidence, moving forward. Monomoy Girl, she's fairly good workhorse in company, and she's one that she taught us a lot. Obviously, she had a good bit of time between the Cotillion and the Breeders' Cup 2 years ago, and she had a lot of time between the Ruffian and the La Troyenne today. So I think these good fillies that put a lot into their their works and their daily training. You can get away with giving them 8, 9, 10 weeks between races and get a big effort out of them. Honestly, I think you're much better off doing that as opposed to wheeling them back every 3 or 4 weeks. In my experience, especially with the fillies.
I'm sure on everyone's mind is just what this day was like for you without fans here and just a really unusual Kentucky Oaks.
Yeah, unusual to say the least, but obviously a good one. It was a great day for our barn overall. Had a fantastic day. Honestly, running a Monomoy Girl when you're 2 to 5 in a Grade 1, it's pretty exhausting. I mean, it's taxing on you. It's really the only time. I mean, honestly, it's the only time I ever really get nervous. And honestly, when you're 15 to 1 in a Grade 1. There's no pressure. I mean, you just want to run well. I thought coming into the race today, I thought we had a big shot. I told Florent, I said, ride. Exactly what I told him was ride to win the race. If she runs third, it's a victory. For her residual value as far as down the line being a broodmare, and he rode to win the race and he did it. Just once again very proud of her, his effort, our whole team, Staten, Sheikh Fad, for believing us, Fergus Galvin. I mean, they just kind of let us as a team kind of guide the ship, and we pulled it off. I mean, it was a great achievement. I mean, this is what you get up every morning to do, to try to win these Grade 1s and play at a high level, and just very blessed and fortunate to be around a lot of great people and a great team assembled that have given us an opportunity with some great horses, and just very, very fortunate.
Thank you. And just so everybody knows, Florent Giroux will be joining us after riding the finale. Staten, I want to check with you. Congrats again.
Thank you.
If you can just capture what your emotions have been over the last 20 minutes.
Just a blur, honestly. Everybody that asked, hey, how do you think you're going to run? Are you going to win? I told everybody, if we run anything better than 4th, it's a bonus, and if we run worse than 4th, it's a disappointment. So it's a bonus. We're tickled to death. Never dreamed 6 months ago we'd be sitting here. We knew we had a nice filly after a couple of Oakland races, but to to come in and beat Swiss Skydiver, who crushed us in the fantasy at Oakland, and Gamine, who's phenomenal, maybe one of the best fillies we've seen in a long time. To come in and beat both of those, I don't think I would have dreamed it. Like I said, anything better than fourth was a victory for us, just because we knew what we were running against. But at the same time, we knew we had a fresher horse coming in, just because we have kind of dodged the tougher races. We've went with the allowance race 2 races back, and I think won it by double digits, and went into the Indiana Oaks and won it by 6 or 7, and that was kind of the plan, to come in with a fresher horse instead of knocking heads with the big ones early on.
How much does Brad share with you about what he sees in the mornings? What kind of vibes were you getting?
Brad and I talk quite a bit. He's just been telling, she's been training like a monster. We knew when we breezed against Monomoy Girl, and I think we breezed the Bullet that day or close to it, we knew it was game on then. So it was up to the trip and what the other jocks did too.
If anyone has a question, Fed's got the mic here. Tim?
Brad, this was 2 Oaks in 3 years. It's been, I think, 10 years since Philly ran in the Derby. Point system, do you think that's likely to ever change?
You know, Churchill's home for me, so I can say a lot, but it does make it tough. You know, I think it does. I mean, it's, I don't know. I don't really know if it could be tweaked a bit, but it does obviously make it a little tough on the fillies.
Follow up. Do you think these fillies, that your filly, was capable of running in the Derby?
You know, she would have made a good account of herself. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of Tiz the Law. I mean, I'll admit that. I mean, his Travers was one of the better races I've seen of any horse this year or in years. I mean, he's fantastic performance, and if he runs that race back, he's going to be very tough tomorrow. So, you know, I mean, to say she could be competitive, absolutely, she could be competitive with that group.
Jason?
Brad, I know you've talked a little bit about hoping to get to the Derby at one point, and you had 2 really good colts earlier in the year with Wells Bayou and Mr. Monomoy. I wonder if you might just kind of take us through your year, and I know with trainers it's always up and down, but does this maybe take some of the sting out of the spring?
Well, I mean, you know, we're very fortunate to have Mr. Monomoy and Wells Bayou to accomplish a good bit, and obviously we had another nice coach shared since we just opted to not run in the Derby, and he's still kicking, he's still up and going. But yeah, I mean, you know, this is a major accomplishment for us. I mean, this is you know, second biggest race run in Kentucky, and you know, we're still after the first one. We're looking forward to winning it, and looking forward to our first starter. But you know, very pleased with the year we've had, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to build and, you know, play for the Breeders' Cup with some of these horses. And, you know, we'll see what happens with She Dares the Devil moving forward. You know, it was a big race today. We'll see how she comes out of it, what kind of number she receives, and, you know, we'll see. But, you know, it's a tough race to get to, the Derby, back to your question. I mean, it's obviously been very tough for me. We had 2 horses, and then in February we had the leader in the clubhouse with Mr. Monomoy, and then in the March we had the leader with Wells Bayou, and either were able to, you know, make it beyond that. I mean, you know, it kind of fizzled out. But both horses are hopefully will be back by the end of the year, early 2021.
Staten, Brad said that the Breeders' Cup would be a goal, but for a Hot Springs boy, we also know that the Apple Blossom is the real long-term goal, right?
Absolutely. For me, winning at Hot Springs at Oakland, that's at the top of the bucket list. That's up there. So hopefully we can give her some time off and bring her back fresh, and maybe run 2 or 3 races there. I think there's the Baiacoa, the Azeri, then the Apple Blossom. Hopefully we can sweep all those and get on the Breeders' Cup trail.
There you go. Yes, sir.
You guys talked about a little on the track, just how challenging 2020 has been for everyone. What does it mean to get a win of this magnitude when you had to deal with the things that everyone has had to deal with this year?
For me, it's just been so much unknown. 2 weeks ago, we didn't even, as an owner, I didn't even know if we were going to be able to come to the race. So to be here and experience all this and to win the race is great. I'm I'm from Hot Springs, so Oakland was halfway through their meet when we pretty much had to pull the plug on all the fans and spectators coming in, and we were kind of day to day there. Are we going to get to run tomorrow? Every horseman was scratching their heads, trying to figure out a plan B if things fell apart there. So starting in March to now, it's just such a big relief to actually still be able to race and to win something of this magnitude and to be here to experience it. Because back when we won our allowance race here, what was that, May, June? Sometime then, owners weren't allowed to be here. So just to be able to be here and experience, that's what really means a lot to me.
Staten, for those that haven't heard, can you recap the story of the November sale and how you ended up in partnership with Qatar Racing?
Yeah, my bloodstock agent, Clay Scherer, he was looking at this filly. He called and said, hey, I've got this filly I really, 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 really like. Let's see what we can do. And right before I guess about 10, 15 minutes before the horse went in the ring, I think Fergus Galvin, Sheikh Fahad's, one of his bloodstock agents over here, approached Clay and said, hey, let's go in 50%. So let's do it. I'd rather bid with them than against them. And my buddy Autry Lowry, who's Big Ot Farms, we had been looking at a couple other horses in the sale that went for much more than we thought they were worth. So I bought 50% and said, hey, I'm not going to screw you over. We've been looking at horses together. If you want a small piece of this one, you can have it too.
And Staten, can you tell us a little bit about your background in racing in Hot Springs and your relationship with Oakland Park?
Born and raised in Hot Springs. My family owns most of the parking lots around Oakland, so before I could drive, I've been on the parking lots just helping out, taking money. Then my dad passed away in 2011, so I've pretty much taken them over, and I've gotten to know a lot of different owners and trainers that park with us and fell in love with racing early on. Different people would be, hey, come over and watch our horse run, come get in the picture. And when I graduated college in 2012, I claimed my first horse. We won our second race, and it's been all downhill ever since.
Brad's been amazing the last few years. How'd you get hooked up with Brad, and what can you say about the job he's done this year?
A friend of mine, Kevin Martin, who was my very first trainer, he decided not to come back to Oakland that year. He went to the fairgrounds, and he said, hey, there's this new younger guy that I really want you to use as a trainer. He's the next big thing. And I think Brad had maybe 12 horses at the time. We claimed I believe it was a 12-5 claimer, full steam ahead.
Yep. Little chestnut Kitten's Joy.
Yeah, about the only Kitten's Joy that could run on the dirt. And, she won the first race we had her. Got claimed, and we claimed something else and won with it. So everything's gone great with Brad, and I don't think we've ever had a crossword. We're both so easy to deal with. He's the captain, and I'm just along for the ride. So we've had a lot of success with Mr. Misunderstood, and a couple other horses have won some minor stakes around here, but feels good to get a grade one together. Feels good to get a grade one. This is the first one I've had. I think we ran fifth a time or two over at Keeneland with Mr. Misunderstood, but to knock that off the bucket list, that's sure a nice thing to do, especially in 2020, as bad as everything else has been. A little bright spot.
A bright spot indeed. Well, gentlemen, thanks so much, and congratulations again.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody, we'll get Florent Giroux in here as soon as possible, but stand by for that.
They just did. Here's a replay, guys, if you want to see.
Brad asked, did he win it?
Oh,
Florent.
shit. Hold on, Brad. I'll tell you I'll tell you. I know you won this. I know you won this one. Hold on. Give me a sec. I'll tell you what.
Looks like diamond oops, Brad. Looks like you ran 1.5.
Diamond oops. What kind of race was
That'd be a cone.
Yeah.
Oh,